Tired of setting goals in the new year and not achieving them? In this video, 5 steps of how to have the best year ever by Michael Hyatt. Letting go of the past. Michael Hyatt calls this backwards thinking. What happened in the past cannot be ignored or wished away. Eventually, it must be addressed. If you keep ignoring the pain and problems, there will be consequences. These consequences can manifest in your body through like illnesses, anxiety. If you have unresolved business, you'll be carrying it with you wherever you go. And as the book says, probably sabotaging everything we're trying to build going forward. In order for us to have the best year ever, we must look backwards and then move forward. In the book, Michael Hyatt shares the after reaction review to help us understand what happened, why it happened, and how to improve it. This is a 4-step method to let go of the past. Step 1 is to state, how did you want the year to go? What were some of your plans or some of your goals? Step 2 is to acknowledge what actually happened. Maybe the goal was to go on vacation, but someone got sick in the family and you had to cancel plans to see them. Step number 3, what can you learn from this experience? Those who do not learn from the past most likely repeat the same mistakes. He says if you're having trouble with this one question you can ask yourself is, what is missing from your success? Maybe you wish you would have saved more money, spent more time with your loved ones or your spouse, played with the kids. Listing these missing ingredients is an effective way to learn what went wrong and what is needed for a better future. Step number 4, adjust your behavior. Obviously, what you've been doing is not helping you in any way to reach your goals. There's a gap between where you are right now and the goal you want to achieve. This starts by changing your beliefs. Let's talk about limiting beliefs. This is where our thoughts hold us back from achieving our goals. These limiting beliefs can influence how we look at the world, others, and even ourselves. Maybe you have a limiting belief about the world. Maybe you say, we're in a recession and I need to hold on to my money. A limiting belief about others is, a girl like her would never be friends with me. Or even a limiting belief about yourself could be, I have a big gap on my resume and no one is going to hire me. Or I'm not smart enough. I did not do good in school. But here's the thing about beliefs. You can upgrade your beliefs anytime and start creating some real change. Michael Hyatt says the best way to overcome your limiting beliefs is to replace them with liberating truths. The book also shares research that was completed in a Alcoholics Anonymous community where they found that instead of saying, I can't get sober, they say, I can manage life's difficulties without a drink. Simply by changing the perspective, it can change your life. When the mind sees gaps between right now and what you want, eventually it brings you closer to your goals. What you choose to look for, you will find. So if the alcoholic kept on saying, I can't get sober, he will definitely have challenges getting sober. Instead, look for things you want in life. And if you're seeing struggle and lack, life will give you more struggle and lack. But if you see abundance, love, and joy, it will give you more of that. I really like Michael Hyatt's personal example in the book. He used to believe he could not get ahead in life because he did not make enough money to meet his family's needs. After realizing it was a limiting belief that was holding him back, he replaced it with a liberating truth and started saying, I have all the money I need to meet our obligations, accomplish our goals, and be generous with others. He chose to think in a positive way. But you may be thinking, changing my belief is hard. That by itself is a limiting belief. So let's talk about changing and upgrading your beliefs. Revising your beliefs. Step number 1, recognize the limiting belief. Step number 2, record the belief. Write it down. As I mentioned, this could be, I don't have time. I don't have enough experience. I'm not disciplined enough. I don't have money. Whatever it is, write it down. Step number 3, review the belief. Figure out if this belief is helping you get closer to your goals or if it's holding you back. Step number 4, reject or reframe the belief. Find out if that limiting belief is either true or false. For example, in middle school, a girl that got held back a grade, she still has a limiting belief of, I'm not smart enough. This limiting belief has been holding her back, even as an adult. But today, she is smart and has a successful career. This belief is false. Many of our limiting beliefs do have some truth to them. That's what makes them have a stronger hold on us. So what if a limiting belief is true or somewhat true? You always have a choice to reject it and reframe it. Step number 5, revise the belief. Like the book says, instead of thinking, I'm too old to be considered for this job opportunity, you might say, I have more experience than other candidates. Step 6, reorient yourself to a new belief. In the beginning, your mind may reject it, and that's okay. Your mind is used to believing in a certain way, probably for a very long time. I was listening to a podcast and the host said, how do you expect your limiting belief to change overnight? If you've been telling yourself the same negative belief for like 30 years and you've had 30 years of telling yourself you're not good enough, it's gonna take some time to recondition the mind. So be patient, and it all starts with becoming self-aware that it's happening. Michael Hyatt says every time an old belief crops up, reject it or reframe it and restate the liberating truth. The trick is to start living as it's true. The more we do so, the more we bring our experience into alignment with our expectations. People lose their way when they lose their why. That's why revisiting your why is so important. It helps you renew your intention on why you started the goal. If you're interested in knowing more about your why, check out my last video. The book takes it one step further by discussing the key motivations, including intellectually and emotionally motivators. Some people call this the heart and mind. What are intellectual and emotional motivators? He shares that maybe you're intellectually motivated because of the research or data you've gathered. Emotionally, you may be looking forward what life would have been like once you have achieved your goal, or what it would feel like if you do not achieve the goal. An example of this can be getting healthy. For me personally, I work out for strength, overall physical health, feeling good, and the clarity I get post-workout. Emotionally, I work out because I think about the time I got sick and how powerless and weak I felt and how things could have gotten worse if I did not work out. Recently, for dance class, I think of how happy and free I felt moving and did not care how other people saw me. Those are the two emotional factors that make me want to work out. Even the book states that research has found 9 out of 10 people reported that they exercise because they expect to feel good afterwards. Quick recap. Write down your why on paper, review it often, and connect with it with your mind and heart. You can trigger your success. Many people have a goal in the new year of wanting to wake up early and go to the gym, right? And then a few days later, they fail. Don't let this be you. Hope this next part helps. This chapter in the book is called You Can Trigger Success. Michael Hyatt talks about the activation triggers, addressing the obstacles to help you achieve the goal. Stay with me. I share an example later. He discusses using the if-then format. If or when X happens, then I will do Y. 2 things to note here. He says make sure your activation triggers are easier to achieve than your actual goals, and make sure your SMART goals create the activation triggers. If you don't know what SMART goals are, I have a whole video on it. I'll share it above and in the description down below. Okay, let's get to my example. I have 2 activation triggers to help me go to the gym. I have set 2 alarms on my phone to trigger me. The first alarm to trigger me to get ready for the gym, and then 20 minutes later, another alarm telling me it's time to leave the house. The trigger in the example was the alarms, and the action was to get ready or leave the house. I also try to make it easier for me to achieve the goal. I plan out my gym outfits for the whole week in advance, but maybe that's not for you, and you might plan your outfits the night before. This guarantees me a good outfit and saves me time in the mornings. Let's say your New Year goal is to stay off your phone. Something similar to the goal in the book is Michael Hyatt does not bring his work laptop home because it tempts him to keep working. If you have a habit of staying on your phone late at night, maybe you can leave it in another room 10 feet away. I even know people that just delete apps off their phone because it may tempt them. You have to figure out what works best for you and your life. Only you know what that is, and you can adjust as needed. In the book, he goes more in detail about this topic. If you're interested, check out the book. Lastly, celebrate your wins. When reaching a milestone or the goal, it's important to stop and celebrate the win. He writes that celebrating your wins validate your work, and it is also the key component of living a full and meaningful life. The book says that you can experience the strongest positive emotional response if we stop and notice the progress towards our goals, and once the goal has been achieved, celebrate it. In another book I read, it talked about how first birthdays should be celebrated because not only does it celebrate the baby, but it holds the parents accountable to raising the child in front of their family and friends. There's a lot more information in the book. If you're interested, I will leave it in the description down below, and I think there's even a revised version of it, so check that out. If you like this video, please do share it with someone, and until next time.